Good morning. In the previous video, we have been discussing about few statistical terms which are very much useful for understanding the calibration. Now we are going to learn about the different types of calibration of analytical instruments which are frequently carried out for doing any type of analysis. Okay, so a proper calibration is very much important for getting good and accurate results. So whenever the results are going to be at fault and when we are not getting proper result, it means that we haven't calibrated the instrument properly. So to achieve that proper accuracy of any data or to get any good result, we have to first of all we have to calibrate the instrument or standardize it using some standard operating protocols and all. And there are three different types of calibrations. Okay, so the choice of this calibration, it depends upon the errors, okay, the expected errors which we come across during the performance of the experiment. And also it also depends upon the sample preparation, because how we prepare the sample, that also is going to be a main cause for developing the errors. Okay, so that is again important, because that is when we do the pipetting or not. So pipetting error is also one of the type of errors which we come across in doing this kind of analysis. And then sample introduction is also very important. The analyte, when we are going to introduce the analyte into the sample matrix, that is again more important. For example, in chromatography, it plays a very important role. Okay, and also the type of detector that we are going to use in the instrumentation method, that again plays a very important role in the selection of the calibration method. Okay, and three different types of calibration types are there. The first one, it is called as the analytical curve. Okay, analytical curve, it is also called as calibration curve or standard curve. Okay, so these are the three names for this first method: analytical curve, calibration curve, and standard curve. And the second method, it is called as the method of standard addition, right? And the third method, it is called as internal standard, method of internal standard. Okay, so these three are the different types of calibration method which are basically used, and we are going to choose any one of these calibration method depending upon the instrumental method that we are going to use for our particular analysis. And also it also depends upon the errors which we encounter and the interferences which are present in the sample matrix. Okay, so these three factors play a vital role in determining the type of calibration methods. So now we will discuss about the analytical curve or the calibration curve in this video in brief. Okay, so here we have already practiced this. Okay, so in biochemistry you have already seen, right? In we have done 3 or 4 quantitative analysis protocols, starting from DNS method, Lowry's method, Bradford method, and all those methods that comes under this analytical curve. So what we have been doing there in those experiment, if you can recall, you would have prepared a standard stock solution whose concentration is very well known, and you will have a unknown test solution, right? So whose concentration is unknown. Apart from that, you would have prepared all the reagents which are required for the analysis, right? So you have a series of test tube. All these test tubes would have been labeled starting from blank and S1, S2, so on to S5 or S7, and then T1 and T2. We always do the test sample in duplicate, okay, or even triplicate is very much preferred to avoid error. Or for how do we avoid error? We can either go for average by taking the mean of 3 values, or you can keep on repeating until you obtain a proper precise value. Okay, so we take the series of test tubes, and then you keep on adding, you'll be adding the known concentration solution in the test tubes. in increasing order, right? Whose concentration is very well known. அந்த ஸ்டாக் சொல்யூஷன் நம்ம ஆல்ரெடி ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணியிருக்கோம் இல்லையா, அதோட கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் நமக்கு தெரியும். இப்போ ஒவ்வொரு டெஸ்ட் டியூப்லையும் நம்ம வந்து இன்க்ரீசிங் ஆர்டரில் ஆட் பண்ணிகிட்டே வருவோம். And then you will be adding all the reagents which are essential for the reaction for developing some type of color or whatever it is. And then finally you would incubate it for some minutes, and then we'll be reading it at a particular optical density, right? So இதில் இன்னொரு முக்கியமான விஷயம் blank solution. Okay, so blank solutionல என்ன பண்ணுவோம், except the analyte you will add all the other reagents present in the sample matrix. So using the blank solution you will be calibrating the instrument and then calibrating it to 0, and then you will be taking the reading for all the sample solutions whose concentration is known, and then you will move on to the test solution. So now you have a series of concentration and their corresponding signal, that is the optical density, right? So here you can see on the blackboard I have made a graph. So you have already plotted this graph for Bradford's method and all, right? On the x-axis you will have the concentration of protein in the range of milligram per ml, and in the y-axis you will have the optical density. So the same thing here, instead of the response is going to be the optical density. So when you plot a graph you would be getting a linear line. So the graph which I have plotted here, the line, it is passing through the origin. It is a very ideal situation, but such thing doesn't happen. This line, it has to pass through some point on the y-axis. Okay, so finally what you will be doing, you will be when you plot this graph on the using Microsoft Excel or any other software, you will be able to obtain this equation. Yeah, so you do the linear regression analysis. Normally this equation, it is obtained when you do the linear regression analysis. So that is using statistical tools and all. So here இது நம்ம சாஃப்ட்வேர்லையோ இல்லைனா மைக்ரோசாஃப்ட் எக்ஸல்லையோ போடும்போது நமக்கு y is equal to mx plus cங்கிற ஃபார்மேட்டில் நமக்கு அந்த ஈக்குவேஷன் வந்துடும். So what does y stand for? Y is the response and m, it is the slope. So slope எப்படி கண்டுபிடிக்கலாம், when you connect any two points on the linear line, you'll be getting the slope, and it can also be calculated using the formula dy by dx. The difference between two values, two y axis values and two x axis values can be taken as the slope. அப்புறம் xங்கிறது என்ன, the corresponding concentration, and cங்கிறது intercept. Okay, ஸோ எனக்கு வந்து இப்போது இந்த கிராஃப் வந்து எப்படி பிளாட் பண்ணியிருக்கோன்னா, ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதை வச்சு பிளாட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். பட் யூ ஹாவ் த டெஸ்ட் வேல்யூஸ் ஆன் த டேபிள், யூ கேன் சி, ரைட்? S1 S2லேருந்து போயிருக்கு, அண்ட் ஃபைனலி யூ ஹாவ் த T1 ஆல்சோ. T1ஓட கான்சன்ட்ரேஷனை நம்ம கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். ஸோ அதை எப்படி கண்டுபிடிக்கலாம், இப்போது T1ஓட கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் வில் பி X. ஓகே, T1ஓட OD நமக்கு தெரியும், நம்ம ஆல்ரெடி ஸ்பெக்ட்ரோஃபோட்டோமீட்டர் வச்சு கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்கோம். ஸோ தட் கேன் பி சப்ஸ்டியூட்டட் இன் பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் Y, ரைட்? அண்ட் எம்மோட வேல்யூ ஸ்லோப்பு நம்ம கால்குலேட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். எக்ஸ் வந்து அன்னோன், ஸோ லெட் இட் பி எக்ஸ். சி வந்து இன்டர்செப்ட், அந்த லைன் வந்து எங்கே ஒய் ஆக்சிஸில் டச் பண்ணுதோ தட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி யுவர் சி. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வச்சு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணலாம், இந்த ஈக்குவேஷனில் சப்ஸ்டியூட் பண்ணோன்னா யூ வில் பி ஃபைனலி ஏபிள் டு கால்குலேட் தி வேல்யூ ஆஃப் எக்ஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் ஹவ் யூ டூ த கால்குலேஷன் ஃபார் determining the value of unknown concentration using analytical curve. And one another important thing here is the value of R square. So this R square, it will define how far away this values which we have predicted are from each other, and also that defines the variation. ஏன்னா இப்போ இதை நீங்கள் மைக்ரோசாஃப்ட் எக்ஸலில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த கிராஃப் போடும்போது நமக்கு அதில் ஆல்ரெடி ஒரு லைன் வந்திருக்கும். நான் அகெயின் தியோரிட்டிக்கலாக யூ வில் பி பிளாட்டிங் ஒன் மோர் லைன். இந்த சாஃப்ட்வேர் வில் ஜென்ரேட் அ ட்ரெண்ட் லைன். ஸோ அந்த ரெண்டு லைனும் எந்த அளவுக்கு டீவியேட் ஆயிருக்குங்கிறத ப்ரெடிக்ட் பண்ணுற ஒரு வேல்யூ தான் ஆர் ஸ்கொயர். ஸோ இந்த ஆர் ஸ்கொயரோட ரேஞ்ச் வந்து என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இட் ஷுட் பி always less than 1. Okay, but the most preferred value will be more than 0.9. 0.9 ல இருந்து 0.99 வரைக்கும் இருக்கிற value is very acceptable. When your R square value is of that range, it means that your handling is good. I mean, experimentல எந்த விதமான errorும் இல்லை, deviationும் இல்லை, and you can very well take this readings whatever you have taken. அதை வச்சு நம்ம concentration ஈஸியாக predict பண்ணலாங்கிறது தான் அதோட meaning. When the R square value is moving below 0.9, it means you have to repeat the experiment. It is the values are very deviated, இல்லைன்னா actual trend value ஓட ரொம்ப deviate ஆயிருக்குங்கிறது தான் அதோட meaning. Okay, so that means you have to repeat the experiment once again. Clear? Okay, so this is the first method of calibration, that is analytical curve or standard curve method. Okay, so about the next two methods we will see in the next video. Thank you.